Okay, so this is your very basic poncho lean-to. You've got yourself some sort of tarp you tie between trees and gives you a little bit of protection from sun, rain. I probably wouldn't use something like this in the winter, okay? Maybe if it's all I had, but you can make better shelters in the winter. This would be, for summertime, you just need to get out of the rain or you need to get out of the sun. Throw up a tarp, tie it between two trees, and you got yourself in shade. Basically, how you make one of these, just like I said, stake it to the ground using branches or something like that, and then tie it to the two trees. If you don't have rope, you can use a branch to tie it on. Okay, that's a poncho tent. Okay, basically the same thing, but you drape your tarp over top, and you make it a little triangle. Same principle. Okay, this is a 3-pole parachute teepee. So you can see here in number 2, that's the 3 poles. If you can find more poles, you can make it a bit better. Basically what you do is tie or latch them together, just like in this picture. All 3 are latched together. Pull them apart, so they make a little teepee. Add extra sticks again, and then you're going to wrap your astronaut parachute around the teepee, or whatever material you have, and that'll keep you some shelter. Okay? You want to leave a bit of airflow at the top, so that you can make a fire in the center, and the heat will rise and the smoke will float at the top of the teepee. Okay, fairly easy one to make. It's been proven effective by all the Native Americans. And it's simple building materials, right? And if you ever got blown out of the shuttle or something like that and you survived, hopefully you'd have a parachute. Yeah.
Are we going to learn how to tie those specific knots? Or?
Yeah, we can do some knots on the weekend. We can do some knots on the weekend.
We have rope. So you still have to bring rope then?
Yeah. I have some rope. So this might be a good one for the weekend. I have a little tarpaulin we can bring, and pretty easy to make that. I can make a little fire in the middle. Okay, 1-pole parachute. Instead of having the 3 poles to make the outside structure, you're basically going to have 1 pole which goes up the center. You're going to bury it in the ground slightly, or in the snow slightly if you're on top of snow, okay? And then stake it to the sides. Fairly easy shelter to build. This is a 1-man shelter. Another very easy thing to build. Simply latch it onto a tree, or if there's a branch straight out from the tree, lay it across there and lay it down, and drape your tarpaulin over top, and put your fire. If you can, have a little distance between the tree and put a fire there to keep the heat into your shelter. Hopefully it don't burn down the tree if you try that. Oh, one thing you want to be careful here is don't put this too high, right? You want to minimize the size of your shelter to keep warm, to keep this lower. You could also, if you have the space, wrap something around the tree to give you more shelter from the other side. And which way should we point this? Which way should it point?
Towards the wind.
Yeah, into the wind, so that you don't have the wind blowing into your shelter, you have it blowing over in a bit of protection. Yeah?
There's another thing that wasn't really mentioned in those pictures. Your shelter should be like a local high point. Don't build it like in a ditch.
Yeah.
Especially if the out drainage of the ditch is blocked. Very bad.
Yeah, that's like really
You wake up
good
floating.
shelter.
But your supply of water.
That's a complex shelter.
This is a field expedient lean-to. Okay? Field constructed, fire expedient. Basically, you have your fire inside here with a bit of a reflective panel here you construct, shelter from the top, and you have your sleeping space along in here. Okay, so you have the heat reflected back by your wall here. You got protection from the elements, so that your wind would blow over the top of the shelter. I probably wouldn't make mine as high as it is here, because that's a fair amount of height. I'd probably make it a bit more shallow. Okay. Again, advantages of you keep the fire nice and close. Your fire is protected from the wind. You're protected from the wind. You can pack it up with snow to give yourself some more insulation, and you have that to reflect the heat back into your shelter. Okay? And that's the type that we made last time we did survival training.
This one's much more elaborate.
It is
Yeah.
quite elaborate. Just a question on the open sides. Like I can see the front to get in and out, but do you do you actually want those sides open if you could help it? Like if you see, I'm just like, it's open basically on 3 sides right now.
The more materials you have, you could build yourself a house, right?
Well, no,
So,
I just wonder if is it left open purposely, or would it, like for airflow for your fire or whatever? I don't know.
not really. I mean, you probably have to deal with whatever materials you have on the ground. And if you have to leave something open for some of the air to get to your fire, right? So you might want to close off part of this though, and you might want to maybe raise this wall up a bit higher so you have like a minimal profile there, and then wall off on either sides.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a version where you can do 2 of these, right? You do 1 on each side, you have the fire in the middle, and that is even more cozy. So if you have 2 people that you're with, you can do 1 on each side, fire in the middle, and you can both equally distant from the fire. And I mean, with the stuff you can get creative, right? As long as you follow some basic concepts like, don't build in a ditch, make sure it's facing the right way for where the wind's going to be coming.
Triangles as opposed to squares.
Yeah. This is a tree pit snow shelter. So you can see here you have something like a pine tree or an evergreen tree. Basically, this would be a winter situation where you have a lot of snow and you find yourself, you're in trouble. Go in, dig down around the tree, and that'll give you some shelter. They use boughs on top. And if you actually go to a place where you have quite a bit of snow, you can actually make this as free. We used to make all the time as kids. Yeah?
I used to make those by accident when I was going snowboarding. And they were very, very hard to get out of.
Yeah.
Really hard. I don't know, I wouldn't do that because I feel like I'd be stuck in there and never be able to get out. Like I always had to have people come pull me out when I was in the tree rock.
Yeah. Make sure you don't.
That's also,
get in quick
is
snow,
that not a
right?
consequence of the fact that you have a snowboard strapped to your feet?
Yeah, no, even when I brought the snowboard off though, you're just like, you can't get out.
Yeah, that's the thing is they note here that it's packed snow. When you're in a tree well, it's not packed at all, is the issue.
Well, a cool thing too is sometimes you'll find that it's actually excavated out for you partially by the wind.
Yeah.
So you find that it's actually, if you can just crawl in there, usually it's already got a bit of a thing going for you. So if you just shovel out the rest you have with a bucket or something like that, or whatever you have on you, you can make that pretty easily. And that's only if you find yourself in a real emergency, like your plane crashes and you're in a dire emergency, it's freezing cold, temperatures are dropping. You can just make one of those and have a little bit of protection for the night.
Does this also, the issue that I see with this is that you're pretty much invisible with this shelter.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to get rescued,
It doesn't have the visibility. I mean, maybe you tie your parachute on in an open area so they know that you're down there.
fair enough.
If it was daytime, I'd probably come out of it and make myself a better shelter and make myself something to get seen by, 3 fires so they can identify that I need help. But if it was getting dark, it might be your only chance. I don't think, if it was daytime, I don't think I'd lie around underneath the tree. They'd never find you, right? So,
It'd be good in a storm or something like that.
yeah, storm. Okay. Also, don't forget about natural shelter. So do not overlook natural formations that provide shelter. Examples are caves, rocky crevices, clumps of bushes, small depressions, large rocks on the leeward side of hills, large trees with low-hanging limbs, and fallen trees with thick branches. However, when selecting a natural formation, stay away from low ground such as ravines, narrow valleys, or creek beds. Okay. Low areas collect heavy cold air at night and are therefore colder than the surrounding high ground.